Okay, so we'll go ahead and get started. So again, thank you for joining us for the Study Abroad webinar on our summer programs. We're going to share a little bit about faculty-led programs, exchange partners, and also independent program providers. So those are our three main areas that we typically have available for summer. First one, faculty-led programs. Those programs can range from as short as 2 weeks or less for some of our travel seminars, up to some of the programs are 4 or 6 weeks in length. So the variety of different options with those, different areas of study. A lot of them are open to students of any major. And we have some of the faculty who's joined us to share about some of the options for this upcoming summer. With those particular programs, you are traveling with a group of WSU students. Sometimes you will literally travel all together on the program, and other times you might book your flights separately, or some of you might travel in smaller groups depending on the particular program that you're doing. And you do pay WSU tuition and fees for those. Enroll in the classes through Wichita State. And then we have the exchange partners. Those are going to be programs that we have through our exchange partner universities. So we have those agreements that are set up where you can do a semester program, is the typical option, but then a lot of them also offer summer programs as well. Not all of our exchange partners have summer options, but many of them do have a summer option. So that is another program that students could choose for summer. For those, you take courses from the partner university, and those can be a lot. Most of them, I would say, are 3 weeks to probably 6 weeks in length, typically. And those, you'll either enroll in the course and pay WSU tuition, or you'll pay tuition through the exchange partner university. And then we also have independent program providers. That's kind of the third option. I kind of put the first two, the faculty-led and the exchange partners, as kind of our top ones that students can look at. They will tend to be usually the less expensive as well, and oftentimes can work well with the courses for your degree. But then we also have independent program providers, and I'll share more about them, where you can do a summer program through one of their options. You will pay tuition and fees directly to them, but they do offer a lot more variety in the way of maybe locations. So if you're looking for a particular country that we don't offer with the faculty-led or exchange partner, and oftentimes I will have students that will look at independent program providers as an option to consider. So we will go ahead and move into first the faculty-led programs. And our first program that we're going to share about is the Spanish language program in Puebla. So Dr. Chavez is here to share about that.
Hi everyone, I'm with Lawak Chavez, and I'm the director of the summer program in Puebla, in Mexico. And as you can see in the slide, the program is 6 weeks long. Next year we are planning on having our program from June 13th to July 25th. So that's exactly 6 weeks. And as you can see, the prerequisites or the requirements for the program is to have 3 semesters of Spanish at the college level. And the reason for this is that we want our students to be able to function in a Spanish-speaking country, because that's how they're going to improve. We don't want, some students, if their level is too low, they may not be able to get much from the program. Most students take 2 classes. For them to take 2 classes, and that's what's included in the price. And we also have some courses for graduate students. Normally we have MA students doing MA in Spanish, some graduate students who do the program too. So if we can go to the next slide. So here we have the price for the program, the fee. So it's $5,000, and those $5,000 cover basically everything in those 6 weeks. So 6 credit hours, so 2 courses. It covers 2 meals per day. Accommodations like hotel, students have the option of staying in the hotel where I stay and the other students stay, or they can also stay with a host family in Mexico. The price also covers medical travel insurance and 4 excursions in Mexico. We have scholarships available. Especially next year, we have since we suspended our program this year, we should have at least twice as much money for next year as for scholarships. Normally, students get an average of $800. So next year, we are hoping that students get at least $1,500. So we can go to the next slide. So here we have the itinerary for the excursions. So our excursions are cultural excursions. We try to visit places of cultural interest. Like the first one, so that it's four in total. The first one, we'll go to Cholula, which is about 40 minutes from Puebla, which is pretty close. We particularly visit some of the churches in Cholula, and especially the pyramid. There's a huge pyramid in downtown Cholula that we visit every year. And then on the 26th, June 26th, we will visit an archaeological site in the state of Puebla. It's a huge archaeological site in Cantona. So that'll be our second one. And then on the third excursion, we'll go to Mexico City. We'll visit the Museum of Anthropology and History in Mexico City, and also the Chapultepec Castle. Yeah, there is a real castle in Mexico City. And for the last one, we'll go to Teotihuacan to see the pyramids, probably the most famous pyramids in Mexico, and ex hacienda in Chautla. So yeah, we try to visit especially pre-Columbian archaeological sites. We try to visit museums, historical buildings like churches, ex-convents, and other historical buildings. So so my information is on the bottom. So if you have any questions, you can always send me an email, and I'll be happy to answer your questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Chavez. And yes, if you have any questions about this specific program, feel free to send those in the chat to Kayla, and we will answer questions all at the very end. Okay, and so now we have another faculty-led program, the Costa Rica Travel Seminar, and Dr. Glenn Remington will share about that program.
Good afternoon, everyone. As you can see, my background is one of the canopy walkways where you can walk through the rainforest canopies as part of the excursion. It's a simple trip, 2 hours flight, same time zone, just 9 days. So if anyone's a first-time international traveler, this is an ideal entree into study abroad. There are 2 classes available. One is an honors and one is a geology class. They can be taken at 1 or 3 credit hours, depending on the size of project that you want to do. In the spring, we'll have a 0 credit hour class in the second 8 weeks of the semester to help you prepare for the excursion. We'll focus on sustainability and biodiversity, and you will be exposed to landscapes, vegetation, and wildlife that you would never ever see in Kansas. And we will travel over to the Western Caribbean coast and look at sea turtles nesting on the beaches, and then back through the central highlands to where we'll see tropical rainforest, an incredible range of animals and plants. And then some adventures in zip lining and canopy walkways, so you can get right into the canopies and see the different species that live there. We'll even have the opportunity to see a volcano close up, but not too close. And from there, we'll travel to the northwest, and you'll have the opportunity to visit the Pacific coast. And one of the optional extras there is a chance to do some snorkeling and look at the reefs on the coast. If we change the slide now to the second slide, the fee, $3,325, is all inclusive. It covers your airfare, accommodation, all of the ground transport, all your meals, and then there's a basic travel health insurance plan, but I recommend that you take the optional extra global protection travel with EF, which will mean that if the COVID pandemic is continuing and we do have to cancel it, you'll get a full refund on the fees. The only additional expenses would be anything like buying things on the way, mementos and so on, and then a $50 tip for the tour director, who will be looking after you during the overall excursion. So I think that covers everything, and if you have any questions, I'll be available at the end of the webinar.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Remington. Okay, now we are ready for information on another travel seminar, and this one will be provided by Dr. Rai.
Yeah. Hello everybody, and thank you, Anne, for giving me this opportunity to share this wonderful program with the students. So this is a 10-day program. We leave on 15th May, which is right after the final exam of the spring semester. And we leave from Wichita and we come back to Wichita. So it is Wichita to Wichita seminar. We are going to visit Italy, and we are going to visit 3 cities in Italy, that is Rome, Venice, and Florence. And this trip is about visiting one of the oldest cultures in Western Europe. A lot of arts and culture and food experience in this trip is what is the objective for this. It is, obviously, if you know Italian or you have some knowledge of Italian, that will help, but it is not required because it's not a language seminar. It is more a culture and, art seminar. Obviously, in places like Rome, we will visit also Vatican City, and we plan to visit the museums, Vatican museums, including the Sistine Chapel, the very famous work by Michelangelo, or his work on the ceilings on the museum. We plan to visit Florence, where we will visit, we hope to visit some important galleries and see the statue of David, again by Michelangelo. And Michelangelo is not the only artist that we will learn about, but there are several other artists whose picture, art and sculpture we will see in this trip. And finally, we'll visit Venice, not necessarily in that order. We will have figured out what is the order of visiting cities later on. But we will be visiting Venice, which is the city of canals, as you know. And if we get a chance to visit Venice, I suggest that we do it now, because we don't know how long the city will actually survive because of the rising water. The city is getting flooded more and more often. So if you get a chance to do it, this may be not available 10 years or 15 years down the road, at least if the fears of rising seawater come to fruition. Anyway, so those are the cities we are planning to visit. The course is offered as a travel seminar, which can be 1 credit hour or 3 credit hours. The 3 credit hour option is available to College of Engineering students who can actually use this course to meet the Engineer of 2020, which I believe is called Engineer Plus course, to meet that requirement. And I have spoken to the faculty, the academic advisor in College of Engineering about this course requirement, and they have agreed that this course is available and is acceptable as a substitute for Engineer Plus or Engineer 2020. In fact, in my previous seminar that I took my students to Europe, there were 5 students from my College of Engineering who took this course to meet that requirement. Other students, for example, honors students can take this as a 3 credit hour, and students in international business can use this course to meet one of the elective requirements for their international business IB program. Again, in comparison to those students who are taking for 1 credit hour, those who are taking the course for 3 credit hour will have additional requirements that we will talk about with individual students. It's open to all WSU students, and the cost of the trip includes airfare from Wichita and all transportation within Italy, hotel accommodation, which we insist that it should be 1 bed for each student so that you are not sharing a bed, and no more than 2 students per room. So double occupancy, twin bed is what we call it, that is included in the price. Selected meals are included. In my experience from taking the seminar, taking these kind of travel seminars and taking students to Europe, is that all the hotels that we stay in actually include breakfast, is included in the cost of the program. And that is a very sumptuous breakfast in these hotels. So, a lot of students actually don't feel, they don't have to spend a whole lot of money on lunch. But just check for all the details. Selected meals, not all meals are included. And we have also included entrance to selected attractions. You will also have free time during the travel, so that if you have some unique interest that you want to pursue, then we will make sure that you have time to do that. And as your faculty for this particular trip, I just want to make sure that you are safe when you go on these trips, which are outside the scheduled trips and stuff. But it's not been a problem so far in the past. Okay, it also includes basic travel and health insurance, which is very, very important in these days of pandemic. Additional fee, that additional cost that you will incur would be, of course, the tuition fee, depending on whether you take it for 1 credit or 3 credit, uncovered meals and some personal expenses for souvenirs, etc. And the tip for the tour director, which is about $70. And also, as Glenn, Professor Remington recommended, that I also will recommend to my students that they buy the Global Protection Travel Plan for $295. Now, let me talk a little bit about the cost also. This particular cost is based on a minimum number of students, which is about 6 to 9. If the number of students that enroll in the program go up, then the price will come down, and we will share any savings, and the company that I'm going through will share all the savings with the students. But we just wanted to make sure that we tell you the maximum price that you will pay, rather than, and then give you the refund, rather than ask you for a lower price and then say, oh, sorry, the price has gone up because we did not register for students who could come up. And of course, scholarships are available, and Anne will be the right person to tell you more about what kind of scholarships are available. And finally, I will be holding a personal, individual session dedicated only to the Italy seminar sometime in the future, and Anne will be advertising, and the Study Abroad office will be advertising about that, and when I will be holding that program, and so that I can share many more details with you about that. You can always shoot me an email at my email address, which will be provided towards the end. So I think that's all I have to add, and thank you very much, and I will be available for questions later on.
Thank you, Dr. Rai. All right, and now our next program is the Global Entrepreneurship Experience in France. And Dr. Chang is here to share about that program.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jianqi Chen, economics professor. Very happy to be here, talk to you about the global entrepreneurship experience to be held in next summer in France. The dates we currently plan is to go from June 7th to July 16th. That is 6-week programs. But the actual location of the program will be in Biarritz and Bayonne, two beautiful coastal cities in southwestern France. Students in this program will have the opportunity to work with a French company at the direction of a French professor and me together. So we basically will work as a consulting team for the French company, trying to help the company export their products to anywhere in other countries. So over the years, we tend to work with mostly winery. So we had opportunity to taste all kind of French wine. The virtual background behind me is a picture appeared in New York Times a few years back. The background is actually the winery that we work with last summer. No, it's in 2019. So basically, if you sign up for the program and then go there, you will be taking 6 credit hours for 2 courses. One is Entrepreneurship 310. The other one is IB 333. But many students in their junior year or higher may already have taken these 2. So we will give you a different course number, Entrepreneurship 690 or IB 690. All courses will be taught in English. Okay, next slide, please. The program fee is about 1,000. That includes accommodations. This is a single occupancy dorm room with private beds. It's a small room, but has everything. You can even cook for yourself. And this program fee also includes excursions arranged by ESC Paul Business School. We also have orientation set for everyone. There will be some additional cost, including the regular WSU tuition fee for the 6 credit hours I just mentioned. You are going to purchase the airfare, meals. Actually, there is no textbook, but you have to pay for health insurance and other personal expenses you may incur. Okay. The interesting thing from the previous slide about accommodation is also the program lasts for 6 weeks, but the arrangement for the accommodation is for 2 months. So you will have almost 2 to 3 actual weeks available for you to stay in the same place and traveling or touring the surrounding cities or area with no additional cost. Okay. For the excursion, we plan to go to many different interesting cities in France and Spain, including Bordeaux, wine capital of the world. And the pole is where the university is located. But as I mentioned, the actual program will be 1 hour away to the coast area. Pyrenees Mountains is a beautiful place. That is the mountain between France and Spain. Tour de France is very famous, and it takes place every year in France. And then Saint Sebastian is a wonderful, wonderful city just across the border into Spain. Okay, the last part is the best part. This program has $5,000 scholarships available for 8 students. So this is for business students only, the scholarships. But the program is open to all students from the university. But this particular scholarship, $5,000, are available only for business students. And the $5,000 shall be able to cover most of your expenses. Okay, that's all the information I can share now.
Great, thank you,
Thank
Dr.
you.
Chang. All right, so thank you to all of the faculty who shared about their programs. And again, as a reminder, they're going to be hanging around towards the end, so you can send your questions to Kayla and about any of those programs or anything else that I present on. And so next, I want to share about, this is another faculty-led program. It won't be offered next year, but we are tentatively planning on this one for summer of 2022. And this is a new program that we've put together on international leadership. It will be in Lima, Peru. It is taught by a WSU professor. The course is obviously taught in English, so you don't have to speak Spanish. And we have partnered up with Universidad de Lima on this particular program. So their students will also be in on some of the classes. So you'll not just be with WSU students, but also some of their students on some of the assignments and projects that you work on. You enroll in a class through WSU, a management course. This is open to students of all majors, and we've had interest from a variety of different areas of study. It can work quite well for a lot of different majors and for undergraduate and even graduate credit. And there is an option for honors as well. So if you're maybe not thinking about necessarily this upcoming summer, but the following one, keep this one in mind, and there'll be more information out on the website probably by about next spring in regards to specific dates and costs and more details on the program. So now moving away from faculty-led programs, and I'm going to share a little bit more about some of our exchange partner universities. So we've selected just a few of them to talk about. There are more options than I have time to go over today, but I want to share about a few of them. A few of these are some of our popular ones that we've sent a number of WSU students to on the past. The first one is ESCE Paris, and that's one of our exchange partners in France. And for that particular program, they typically offer 3 to 4 weeks in the summer. Usually it's in the month of July. And a lot of the options that they have are related to business or French language and culture. So we have sent some students who were majoring or minoring in business. And then we've also sent a lot of students who were studying a variety of different majors. I've had students who were doing degrees under education or engineering, different areas of study that went and did the French language and culture. And that particular option is available at any level. So you can be a beginner. You don't have to have already studied French. And actually most of our students that have gone have typically been at the beginner level with French. They have off-campus housing you can apply for. The costs do vary depending on which program you do. So I won't get into specific details on that. But usually they have their information out towards the end of the year or very early into the spring semester for the upcoming summer. And then the second one that's up is the Berlin School of Economics and Law, which is located in Germany. They also typically offer several different summer options, and those will be 3 to 4 weeks in length. And they tend to be usually 3 to 6 credit hours of what you'll actually enroll in for the course. These will be, some of them are business related, also economics, as well as they have one that is a European political science class. So for anyone under political science or interested in that, or international studies, this is another good option, as well as a German language and culture. And again, the German language could be at a very beginner level. I think they have a couple different levels that you could choose from. They have housing that you will apply for through their university. And again, the cost can vary depending on which particular program that you go on. And I believe they've actually updated their website. So they do have the options listed of what will be available for next summer, along with the dates and the costs. Though you want to check with our office, because of our exchange partnership, the costs are going to be a little bit different than what they actually have on their website. So those are a couple options that were in Europe. There are others. And then I want to share about a couple more options, one in Japan and one in South Korea. Kansai Gadai University, it's one of our exchange partners, typically offers a summer program that's 6 weeks long. You'll enroll in a Japanese language course and also an Asian studies course that's taught in English. One thing to keep in mind with this program, in the past, they have usually required at least 1 semester of Japanese. So students need to have completed at least 1 semester of Japanese before they go. And then also, they also would need to just be at a level 2 or 3. They don't have higher levels. So you've either would need 1 or 2 semesters of Japanese at WSU before doing that particular program. The approximate fee, that's from last year, $2,800. So that's just an approximate fee. Accommodations are included in that. The tuition you actually do pay to them. Some cultural visits. So that program is great if you are wanting to study Japanese language and learn more about the culture. And then we have the partner school in South Korea, Dankook University, which that is one of our newer partner schools. They have 2 different campuses, and in the past they have had 3 different summer options. So the first one listed is the Global Village program. That's 7 weeks. That actually includes the academic program. So students have the opportunity to go and teach English to their students. That would be in the first 3 weeks. And then in order to do that program, students would be required to stay for the 4-week academic program. They do, in the past, they've had some extra perks, advantages to going and doing that Global Village, aside from having the opportunity to meet their students and help them learn conversational English. They've helped covered accommodations during the first 3 weeks, as well as helping cover flights. So we're waiting to see what they will offer for sure for summer 2021, but this is what they have done in previous years. With academic program, those courses will be taught in English. A variety of different options. So again, depending on your interest in your major, this particular program might work for you, especially if you're interested in going to Asia or specifically South Korea. And then the last option is they've had a Korean immersion program. So, Wichita State does not offer Korean as a language, but this is one way if you have ever thought about wanting to learn that language, or maybe you've studied it some on your own, then you could go on this summer program with Dankook and take Korean language course. They have all their housing on their campus for all of these different programs. And then again, the costs really do vary depending on which program you want to go on and so forth. But a lot of them that are very affordable, and we do get some special rates as well, since we are an exchange partner university. And the next program that we have that I wanted to share about is the University of Orléans, which is in France. And this is one partner university that we've had for a very long time. It's connected to the fact that Wichita and Orléans are sister cities. So this is one students can do, of course, a semester or a year, but they also offer this summer option. It's 4 weeks in the summer. You do need to have kind of more of an intermediate level of French. So if somebody hasn't really studied French previously, then perhaps the one in Paris would work better. This one would be someone who would be probably pursuing a French minor or major and already at an intermediate level. And you would take 2 French courses for 6 credit hours during this particular program. And they have options where you can live with the host family, or they also have studio apartments available. And so those are kind of all a few of some of our partner universities that have summer programs. Again, we don't have time to go through all of them, but I've picked out some of the ones that we send the most students to. And then I want to share about a few other programs that we have before I get into the independent program providers. We've had a program, Teach in Paraguay, now for a couple of years, and that's through one of our partnerships there. This particular program is pretty flexible on the length of time, although 3 weeks is kind of a standard. Some students have gone for longer, and usually it's going to be the end of May into June, and that's partly just related to what their school year is like. It's located in Asunción, Paraguay. They do have options in a couple other cities where students can go. And this is primarily for students who are pursuing a teaching degree. And the teaching degree could be in any area. It could be for elementary, it could be for middle school, high school, any area for teaching. If a student is really interested in this and they're not pursuing a teaching degree, but they have some teaching experience, then this may still be an option, but it's primarily for students who are pursuing a teaching degree. You'll be placed in a private school. It's a bilingual school in Paraguay, so the classes would be in English, unless you happen to be studying Spanish and you wanted to be placed in a class where they would be teaching all of the classes in Spanish. That's also an option. Previously, we've mostly sent students for classes that were taught in English, but we have had a couple students who were studying Spanish. And the program fee, $250. It's a very low fee. It basically includes your accommodations. You'll live with the host family, most of your meals, placement in that private school for the teaching experience. And then the main additional expenses that students would have would be the flight. You will book your own flight, so you'll have your airfare. There is a visa that is required. Those two combined will be about $1,500 to cover your flight and your visa. And then, of course, any personal expenses, uncovered meals, any extra things you might want to do on your own. So if any students are under education and interested in just learning about an educational system in another country, this is a great opportunity to go and have that experience. This is doesn't necessarily will be connected to a course, although if a student wanted it to be, we can definitely look at that as an option. But typically students who've gone in the past don't enroll in a course for credit, but go for the experience. And so it's more of kind of a community volunteer / internship experience doing this particular program. And then we also have a critical language scholarship program. This is something that we like to promote and let students know about. It's through a separate organization, but we do help you with the application process. And just as it says, it's a scholarship program. So actually all of the students who apply, if you are selected, then you basically have a fully funded summer program in order to study one of 15 critical languages, and those are listed up there. So it is very much for cultural immersion and intensive language. A lot of these languages are for students who've never studied the language before, so a beginner level. And then a few of the languages, you actually have to have a more advanced level like Japanese in order to do the program. But they do have all that information on their website. Their deadline will be November 17th for next summer. So there is still a lot of time if students are interested in checking this option out. We have a link on our website for this particular program. But that scholarship, if you are selected to do the program, it will cover your travel, your airfare, tuition, accommodations, and a living stipend. So you'll have minimal expenses out of pocket if you are selected for one of the scholarships for this particular program. And then this kind of leads into independent program providers. So we've shared about faculty-led programs. We've shared about some of our exchange partner universities and some of our other partnerships that we have as examples of options for summer. Another one that students can look at are some of our independent program providers. And so AIFS, ISA, and ISEP are the three main ones that we primarily work with. And as I kind of mentioned previously, these are good options, and particularly if you're looking for a country that maybe we don't already have an exchange partner or a faculty-led program in, then students will look at some of these. So we've sent students before to Ireland, to the Czech Republic, where maybe we didn't have a particular exchange partner or faculty-led program, at least not in the summer that they wanted to go. These programs, their costs, dates, all vary. The deadlines even vary on when you have to apply. But again, we have links on our website, and you can actually search for the different programs for particular countries or particular areas of study. So depending on what kind of classes you might want to look at, and that's something that we can also help you with if you're looking for a particular program, whether it be based on location or based on a particular area of study that maybe we don't necessarily have a good fit under the faculty-led or the exchange partner universities. So now I want to talk just a little bit about scholarships. And so, you know, as some of the faculty shared a little bit on some of the specific scholarships for their particular programs, I want to share a little more in general. So this can apply to the faculty-led programs, to exchange partner universities, independent program providers, really any summer program that you're enrolled in for credit, that you're enrolled in a class. So first, outside scholarship resources, the number one for summer would be the Gilman Scholarship. That is something that students do have to be receiving a Pell Grant either at the time of application or at the time of doing the program. And those programs must be at least 3 weeks long or longer. We will assist you with that application process, and some of you may be aware from some of the emails we've been sending out, October the 6th, I believe, is the next upcoming deadline. So if you want to check this out, if you are considering a summer program, definitely look at it and get in touch with me very soon if you want to apply. We can help you with, you do have to write a couple essays. We can help you with reviewing those and assist you with that process. But this is a great way to help fund your program. A lot of these scholarships for summer can be $2,000, $3,000 or more each. So it can really help a lot with the cost depending on the summer program that you're going on. And then this slide talks a little bit more about scholarships offered through Wichita State. So the Gilman is an outside scholarship. We'll help you with that application process, but that is an outside scholarship. So through Wichita State, generally if you have any kind of financial aid for the summer, typically, and departmental scholarships, typically that will still apply. It can depend on the particular program that you're wanting to do, but that's something that we can also provide more information and look at what kind of financial aid you might have to see how that would correlate with the program that you're wanting to go on. Generally, for federal aid, the classes do have to count towards your degree, so that's something you want to keep in mind. Our office, the Study Abroad office, we offer scholarships. There's one application that students can fill out. We have several sources of funding each year, and typically the summer, the scholarships will range from $500 to $1,000 each. So again, that's for any of the programs, faculty-led programs, the exchange partners, any of those that we've talked about. And then the past couple of years, we have set up a special scholarship for some of our programs that are 3 weeks or less. And so for this next summer, and that would include the Italy travel seminar and the Costa Rica travel seminar, we will have a scholarship up to $2,000 each. Financial need is the primary factor for that. The deadline will be November 1st, and the link, we have links on our webpage from the scholarship webpage as well as the Italy and Costa Rica web pages that we have. And so the primary reason why we also do this is because students wouldn't be eligible for the Gilman, since the Gilman requires you to go on a program that's 3 weeks or more. So we have offered this scholarship to kind of help with students who have a high financial need in order to still get an amount that may cover, half or so of the cost of your particular program. And then the last thing that's listed on there is just checking with your department. So depending on which program you're going on, as some of the ones have mentioned with the Puebla, they have their own scholarships. You could still get one of our study abroad scholarships on top of that. If you're a business student for the PO program, there's special scholarships there. For students that are in the honors college, you definitely want to check with them. They have scholarships which are available for any study abroad program, and those can be generally up to $4,000 each. So again, that could help cover a lot of your expenses. And so be sure, once you know which program, or if you're trying to still decide on a program, and I know a lot of times money can be a huge factor, let me know early on in the process, and we can definitely take that into consideration and look at programs that are less expensive and that might have more opportunities to receive scholarships and financial aid. And so as we're kind of wrapping it up, I want to talk just briefly about the study abroad process for a summer program. First, if any of you have not already attended one of our information sessions, and that be in person or virtual, we have the video that you can watch. You really would want to go ahead and do that. That will help you to kind of see what these next steps are going to be after you've done the information session. And then typically students will do an appointment with me. Then you're deciding on kind of which program you're wanting to do. You'll fill out an application. Sometimes it can vary a little bit on what application you'll fill out, depending on the particular program. So it's good to double check with our office before you fill out an application. And then of course, I already talked about applying for scholarships. Make sure you don't miss any of those deadlines. If you don't have a passport, you'll want to apply for a passport. And a lot of these things you would be doing right now as we are going into the middle of the fall semester. And then if a visa is required, most of the time the summer programs don't require a visa for US citizens traveling to a lot of these countries, but some of them do. So if that happens to be one where you'll need it, then you would also be applying for a visa eventually. Then we hold pre-departure orientation meetings. Now, some of the faculty-led programs will hold their own orientations before you leave. And then we also have a larger summer orientation for some of our other programs that we offer. And then, of course, booking your flight and any other kind of last-minute details before you leave. That gives you just kind of a quick, brief outline of what to expect for applying for the summer programs. And so there's my contact information up on the screen. If anyone has questions that you think of after this webinar or that you want to email later, you can certainly send those to us. Our Facebook page and our website is up as well. So thank you for joining us and listening to our webinar.